I've been waiting a long time to make this video, and today's the day. Today I'm gonna be sharing my journey and personal experience in using the menstrual cup and why I think it's so important that more women know about the menstrual cup, especially if you're like me. I'm in my late 30s and I've only discovered it in the last 1 year, though I have heard of it in the last 4 or 5 years. But it has really changed my journey into changed my period journey, and to discover something much later in life after using pads for many years. I feel like more women need to know about this, especially if you're a millennial girl, and this might have kind of not been in your radar, or you've just been too caught up with other stuff to bother about discovering the new way to, or not the new, but a new way to deal with our monthly periods. So menstrual cup, right? Let me just show you what I use. So currently I'm using this menstrual cup. I'm not gonna say, I don't know the brand because I've had it for maybe almost a year. I would say 8 months or 9 months. This is my menstrual cup I'm currently using. There's a couple of things I learned on this journey. So when I started trying to use the menstrual cup, which is in 2020, I got a cup online, and I really struggled with it, and I didn't even after that struggle, I didn't even consider using it because it was just too much of a nightmare. But this all changed when I went for a holiday with my girlfriend, and she was on her period and we were by the lake, and I was shocked at the ease and the comfort that she was experiencing on her period while using the menstrual cup. So pretty much we were both in our bathing suits, and she was full flow period, like not a care in the world. She looked totally comfortable, and she was just swimming and chilling and sitting in public with her legs out, and that was something that was really shocking for me, and I guess that really made me look into the period cup deeper. So I started discovering the period cup in 2020 when I had the bad experience. That was on my own, and then in 2023, which was late last year, was when I went for this trip with my girlfriend. And after seeing her and seeing what she could do on her heavy period days, I was like, I gotta give this another try. So here I am. So when I started with my first period cup in 2020, it was this period cup, which, let me just share with you the difference that I realized in this journey of finding my period cup, is that this period cup is stiff to press, like it's a little hard and it's a little plasticky. I realized that this was also part of the struggle that I dealt with when trying to insert it, and that kind of, I guess, in the long run, I used it for a few days, but I just couldn't deal. So when I went to rediscover it, I found this cup, which is actually much softer. So if you take a look, it takes much more force to press this than it does this, and that has made all the difference, because when you're inserting it really, this folds much better. I'll talk about the folding and the methods of folding and what it takes to actually master the period cup, which I wouldn't say I'm a master yet, even though it's been many months, but it is science that you need to understand when inserting the period cup. But what I found is something that's softer for me works best, as opposed to this one that was a little bit firm, and it was hard to maneuver or manipulate, trying to put it into the vagina. Yes. So let's start with that. Okay, so this is my current period cup. As you can see, it has a cup and a stem. Very quickly, what I learned is that in my journey, when selecting a period cup, there are different types of cups. So this is a long cup with a shorter stem, but you can find shorter cups, you can find longer stems, you can find different, the material is slightly different. So there are a couple different brands have different sizes they call, and they vary in the cup, capacity and the length of the stem. And this is all important for when you're inserting and removing the cup. So this is what I'm currently using. What I've learned is that in this process that different women have different lengths of how deep their cervix is, how deep their vagina canal is, and so according to what I found on the internet is that some women have a really deep canal, that means their cervix is really deep in, and some women have a shorter canal. So it's important to know where you are at. Is your cervix really deep in? Is your canal much longer, or is it short? And is your cervix much closer to your vagina? I'm not sure if I'm using the right terminology, but I hope I can clear out some of these things that I'm saying that might not make sense. But so yeah, the canal is how much it goes in, and the cervix is where it stops. If you have a deep canal, it would make sense to have a longer stem and a bigger cup, maybe. And if you have a shorter canal, which means your cervix is much lower, I guess probably a shorter cup or a smaller cup would work for you. So okay, that was something that's important. But for me, the most important difference in this two is how firm they are. So this is much more malleable, and I can really shape it to as the size I want in order to fit it in, whereas I really struggled with this one. It's very firm, much firmer, and that was where the struggle is. So yeah, that is my cup that I'm currently using and why I chose this cup, and how it works for me. A couple of other things that I would like to share in my journey of swapping over to the menstrual cup is that I have some notes, so I want to try and be as specific as I can. So one other benefit that I enjoyed in this journey is that it has been very cost effective for me to have a period cup, because I no longer use pads like I used to. And with pads, you should change it really frequently, a couple of times a day at least. And with this, you don't throw this away. You use it for, I think there's up to a 5-year usage for one cup. So in Malaysia, that's where I am. In Malaysia, a good quality pad, which is very important because of if you have sensitive skin, or depending on, I guess sensitive skin is the most, and depending on the chemicals that they use in order to absorb the liquid that comes out, the blood that comes out, pads can get quite pricey. So this is 80 ringgit that I got, or 75 ringgit. It was quite a while ago, and this one I got for 100 ringgit for 2. It was on promotion, so I think you can get it for about 75 ringgit based on my experience. Pads cost 15 ringgit for a pack of pads, and sometimes I would go through, most of the time I would go through 2 packs of pads every month during my period. So that would mean it's 30 ringgit minimum for the month, maybe even more sometimes. So let's put it at 40 ringgit, 40 ringgit a month. So in a year, 40 times 12, I don't know, you do the math, it's definitely more than 80 or 75. This has lasted me now 9 months, I think, and it's still usable, and I have many years more to go. So it saves you a lot of money. So if you want to save money on pads, a menstrual cup is the way to go. I guess it's the same thing with tampons. You can go through a lot in a day, just to keep you safe from toxic shock syndrome, and also depending on how heavy you flow, you'll be using a lot of tampons and not reusable. So that would be approximately the same cost, whereas this was only a one-time purchase, and that's it. I'm still using the same 80 ringgit that I did 9 9 months ago. So it's cost effective for sure. If you're looking to save, this is the way to go. It's eco-friendly, so as you know, we're trying to be more sustainable because the world needs our help. That is something that I really like as well. My pads filled with blood are no longer going to some minefield somewhere and being, buried or thrown out with all the rubbish. And yeah, it's something that I'm really happy with. So pretty much in the period cup, when you use it, you bleed into it and then you throw it away, take it out, you put it in, you bleed into it, you take it out, you throw it away, empty it into the toilet, and then you put it back in. So literally it's so eco-friendly, and I think that's really important to me as well. So another thing is that with the period cup, I guess you can use it up to 12 hours. So literally you would have to change it. Maybe when I say change it, you just have to empty it maybe twice or 3 times a day. You can do more depending on how comfortable you are or how much you bleed when it comes to each cycle, but it's really much less than changing pads. Because I think another thing, so I'm gonna add on a couple of things, right? So it's definitely more comfortable. I think that's a main thing for me when it comes to comfort. Literally, guys, when you use the period cup, you can't even feel like you're on your period. The most painful part of a period for me was that when it was period time and you are using a pad, which I did for many years, you feel the period flow out of you, number one. Number two, it becomes moist and sticky, on the pad, and it's touching your skin. Number three, there's a smell, right? Like there's a smell that you get, a period smell. Actually, it's the smell of when the blood and the pad have made contact and absorbed, and it's been sitting there for a couple of hours. That's the smell that you get. That's really unpleasant. And that's something that everybody deals with, right? Because if you're using pad, this is just how it is. But with the period cup, all of that is gone. When you put this in, you can't even feel the blood flowing out because it's all caught. It doesn't flow out through, all the way through the canal. You're catching the blood quite high up. You can't even feel the flow. Secondly, nothing is on your underwear. Once you insert it properly, nothing is on your underwear. You don't feel the wetness, the stickiness. There's no smell. There's no discomfort. There's no your pad moving left and right, adjusting, things like that. All of that goes away, and that's such a mind-blowing thing for me, because during my periods, it's all of those factors that made it really uncomfortable and made it less me. It led to me being not physically active. I would not wear certain clothes. I would not do certain things because there's just this constant awareness that you're having your period, and it's kind of like you're worried if you sat wrongly or if you did something wrongly that the pad might move, there might be leakage, so on and so forth. So this is the biggest reason that has led me to make this video, is because of how my periods have changed dramatically over the last 9 months. I'm no longer stopped, I no longer hesitate to kind of do things that I would usually not do on my period. Not because I'm on top of the fact that you feel fatigue and it's the time of the month, blah blah blah. That's 50% of things that of course still happen. You feel a little bit weak and all, but the other 50% is managing the actual blood flow and the feeling and the inconvenience of everything. So that 50% has been totally removed from my period journey, and that's really important to me, and I thought that it's really important to share because it's life-changing. It literally changed my life. It changed my lifestyle, and this is a monthly occurrence. That the lifestyle change is significant because we get our periods monthly. Well, at least I'm hoping that everybody gets their period monthly. Not everybody does, but if you do, it is a monthly thing that you deal with, and it can be very painstaking, and you can't imagine how different your experience will be when using the menstrual cup. So that is something that was a great pusher, a great push for me to do this video, is because I do want to share the benefits, which is massive. Like, the change in my life monthly from using a menstrual cup is profound. So I thought I'd share that. I think that's actually the main reason that I do recommend using a menstrual cup. Of course, I think in all this discussion there's less irritation. The material that this is made of is I can't remember the material, but it's some high grade clinical plastic that doesn't give you irritation. It doesn't have a smell. Like, once you wash it and you clean it properly, which you should learn how to clean it, it doesn't have a smell. It's clean. It cleans off regularly. There's nothing, it's a good quality product is important. Yeah, so I guess that was what I wanted to share with you guys today. I'll make another video, I think, about the science behind actually using the period cup, because when I say science, I mean there's a science in the application of this. Like, how do you put it in, how do you take it out, what is the science that keeps the blood in? That's a whole different story, and I struggled. It's normal to struggle with that initially, but if you understand the science behind it, like how your anatomy is, how this works, which way do you insert it, what fold do you do, then it makes the journey much more bearable. When I mean the journey this time is the initial journey of swapping from the pad to the menstrual cup. And yeah, I'll make another video on kind of how that it's important to learn the technicalities of starting to use this, because you don't want to be thrown off by the science of it. It's really simple. It takes a learning curve, and there's step 1, step 2, step 3, and there's trial and error. But if you persevere over the length of your period for 1 month, and then you go from the 2 or 3 months, you'll definitely get a hang of it, and it's worth every single effort that you put in to learn the science behind this. So yeah, that's my video for today. If you want me to make a video about the science of it, let me know, and then I'll make it, and then hopefully you'll benefit from it. Okay, bye.